Okay, so I'm back with a late night rant here once again. It definitely doesn't look like it's late night because it's, so bright in here. But I would love to talk to you guys about something I'm really passionate about, which is the behavior of getting stuff done. The two types of people. People that don't get stuff done and the people that actually get stuff done. So as an example here, you guys see I'm recording with this horrible camera. The camera I'm recording with now is pretty bad. Right there besides me, that's an $800 or $900 camera. I bought it like 5 hours ago. Still, I just recorded a video with this camera because I'm lazy. I don't get things done. And obviously, I don't struggle too much about it. I'm definitely going to plug it up tomorrow. But that is the case. When I know I'm going to record a video right now, still didn't manage to plug up the camera. Even though it just takes me a second. I kind of know how to use it anyways. But I just decided to not do it. So, there's a lot of people that just waste their time. Or they just don't get stuff done. And the worst part about it is, people that knows what they can do. And they still don't do it. Because some people, they don't know exactly what to do. That's still just an excuse. You can obviously figure out what to do. There's a lot of people that, kind of don't know what to do as for now. And that is, let's call it okay. It's not okay in terms of your success, but let's just call it okay. What is not okay though, however, is the people that knows what they're doing, but they still don't take action. You all probably heard a quote, if you do what's easy, life will be hard, and if you do what's hard, life will be easy. And I can relate to that totally. I mean, obviously, if you do what's hard, life will be easy. If you do what's hard, there comes consequences to it. You're running a big business, it can come in some trouble, but I'll tell you, the life you'll get from it is obviously super rewarding. I'm just gonna say everything is on my mind because I'm just a little bit thoughtful how people procrastinate and everything. I'm actually reading a book about that right now. Also reading another book that I recommend you guys, which is called Everything's Obvious, How Common Sense Fails Us, because common sense fails a lot of people. It can even be a reason to why you guys are not getting things done. So if you enjoyed the video, please just smash the thumbs up button and subscribe. The scary part about, the time we're growing up in right now is I think it comes down to electronics a lot. Phones, it could be computers, it could just be gaming, it could be whatever. I mean, if you're a 50-year-old and you don't play video games, there's obviously other things too, but I'm just saying, like, maybe it's easier to waste your time and procrastinate these days than in what it used to be 40 years ago. It was definitely a lot of people wasting their time 40 years ago as well, I'm sure, but I think it might be even easier now. Do not put off the things you could do today till tomorrow, because if you get in that habit, you just keep going with it, right? And I've seen this in myself. When I dropped out of college and I was gonna go all in on my business, I dropped out and I didn't make money. I just thought that I was determined. I was like, I'm gonna be this great guy, I'm gonna make so much money and all of that stuff. I was all in, I thought, and for the first like 6 to 12 months, almost for the first year, I was just kind of working every once in a while. Like, I might go ham for a week and then I might, just retire from it for another week and then, just keep going back and forth trying to build a business. Obviously that does not work, but I took myself in it eventually and I saw the problem here. I would play video games, 6 months in a row without doing anything. And then I would, confuse learning with taking action as well, which is another huge thing. People just consuming stuff and don't doing stuff. Like, the more you consume, the harder I think it's going to get to the point where you actually take action. If you're just sitting here the whole day watching other people's successes, watching how to do something, when you're not going to do it yourself, you're obviously running into problems. And I see a lot of people just wasting their time playing video games and everything. If you want to be successful, everyone has their different types of success. For some people, successful could probably be playing video games and having a kid and having a girlfriend, working 9 to 5, making like, $50K a year. That could be success for a lot of people. But if you want the success that I'm going to talk about now, which is defining, everyone defines success differently, right? But if you want the success of making like 3, 4, 500K a year or more, if you want to get them to be in the millions, if you just, even if you want to make a billion, whatever, and some kids here, some internet guys are just going to come in the comments saying like, Elon Musk plays video games, you're a fool. That is cool, okay? But I don't think he wasted all this time playing video games when he was starting out. You gotta, you gotta get to the point where you just delete it all. If you're ever planning on making anything work, you gotta just eliminate the distractions. And the cool thing about it is, you might now think, if I were to eliminate my distractions, I wouldn't have anything to do with my free time. But that's what you think now, because you haven't started. When you don't play video games anymore, if that is your addiction though, but let's say it is, when you don't play video games anymore, and by now you think there's no reason to quit because I wouldn't have anything to do. But I'll tell you, once you quit, you will start figuring out what you can do. You will start coming up with new ideas because you sort of have to, because you're not playing any games anymore. And if you want to get to the point where you actually create, insane results, you need to sacrifice a lot of stuff. People might even have to sacrifice their girlfriends. For me personally, I think that's a little bit weird. You can just try to balance it out. But some of my entrepreneur friends had to do that when they were like 17 to 20 years old just to go ham. I'm not saying do that. That's absolutely not what I'm saying, because I had my girlfriend while building a business and I still have her. But I'm just saying, some distractions you may just have to pass off for a couple of years. If you want to play video games, then I don't think you're gonna want to do that in 5 years when you make $1 million. But if you want to do it, and if you think so, then just put it on a break. try playing video games a little bit later. Do you guys not realize that if you're watching this right now and you're 17 years old to 25, like, do you guys not realize that this is a golden time for you to just do something, make something out of yourself, and just change your life? Because it really is. Like, if you were to become 40 years old, and I don't know anything about 40 because I'm not 40, but I've obviously seen interviews and everything, people regret it so much. And 40, I think you're gonna feel almost just as young when you're 40. I mean, Gary Vee says it himself, like, he's amazed by how young he feels now at like 40, 45, whatever it is, probably 42 or something. I don't know, it doesn't matter, but it's just a regret. You don't want to get in a regretful situation, and you want to take action. Now, the worst thing about it is kind of you're feeling a little bit guilty too by not taking action, and you're, you know, that's obviously gonna go in on your mental health eventually. At least I think so for a lot of people, and they're gonna maybe feel like they're a failure. I don't know, there's just a lot of mental stuff there that you simply could just toss out by taking action. All the thoughts, because you're obviously thinking about this a lot. And the other thing about it is, when you're wasting your time, you don't feel good because you know you had something else to do. So if you did what you were going to do, or what you're hoping or planning to do, you would actually feel good. I mean, it might be boring, but at least you won't sit with that ugly feeling, and you actually feel like you're progressing in life. I think it's better to feel like you're getting somewhere than not getting anywhere, even though if you're probably not getting anywhere anyways. I'm not saying you're not getting anywhere, don't get me wrong, I believe in all of you guys, but I think it's better to feel that you're going somewhere, have a purpose, than, you know, just not going somewhere, even though you might end up not going anywhere. Anyways, that was a lot of anyways, guys, that was another one. Procrastination, laziness, it's just a huge problem. I have so many lazy friends, and when they come home from home, they don't work out, they don't do anything. I'm not saying you have to work out, that's totally up to you, but they just don't do anything with their life, and they blame everyone else. The situation you're in now is almost in every case 100% your responsibility, I think. And there's a lot of cases where you, for example, don't have an advantage, where there's, you know, bad stuff going on, there's excuses and everything. But, you know, how good of an excuse you have, like, no matter how good your excuse is, and this sucks, dude, because, like, if you have a super good excuse, which is, I would totally say, like, hey, I'm sorry to hear that, that's horrible. But, like, the thing with it is, even though if you have a good excuse, and don't get me wrong here, because I said it's totally okay if you need some time off or whatever, but if you have a good excuse, that still won't change the outcome, right? So if your excuse is super good and everyone thinks it's totally okay to take a break, and that is fine, but that will not change the outcome. So a good excuse, some people, you know, they will probably make them feel okay by not taking action because they have a good excuse. But even if you have a good excuse or not, that's still not gonna change the outcome. Like, if my house burned down today and I couldn't get to work because I didn't have a house, that's a qualified excuse. Yeah, I didn't have to work. I mean, this stuff just happened. Obviously, I won't work, but I'm just saying the excuse won't change the outcome, right? So if you want the outcome, you got to take action. You got to find a way. And when everything goes against you, this is where a lot of people just drop out, and where procrastination is, you know, started. It's when the challenge comes, they jump off. So there are like four main personalities. The first one is conscientiousness, and that is a personality that's super good to have. I don't know anything if it's like born or if you can get into that position. I was reading a little bit about it because I study a lot of stuff. I'm just trying to get a little smarter, and it looks like you can turn into that person. However, it's easy if you've already been it. So if you want that personality trait, you got to be the guy who's the leader. You got to be the guy who takes action. A conscientiousness person, whatever happens, he will still, you know, he will still get on to the next thing. He will fix the situation. He will fix the problem. He won't just go in bed and just waste his time watching, you know, TikTok or whatever. So if something happens, that's the type of guy, the type of leader, the type of guy who takes action and takes control over their life. That's the number one out of the four main personalities. And the thing with it is, obviously, it's more qualified to make results. That's usually a personality trait you will see in successful people, because successful people take action, and no matter the circumstance, no matter what happens to them, they will still make it work. We see it over and over again. People from the worst background come up to be the biggest thing ever. Like, you guys know the guy who made Rocky, what is his name? Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone, he sold his dog. So, like, that's his situation. He was so broke, he sold his dog. And now he's, like, one of the biggest actors ever. People from the worst background just sometimes just turn up to, like, the biggest people because they're so hungry. Hungry for a better life. Hungry to love their family. I don't know, they're just hungry. They really are, and they're putting the work. And the second personality is agreeableness. It's a personality of people that just are warm, they're kind, they agree to everything you're saying. And I think that's a bad personality to have in business, because often you don't want to tell people the truth. Now, no, I'm, you know, going a little bit out of, you know, stop procrastinating, stop wasting your time type of thing. But I want to cover this really quick, okay? Because it has something to do with what I'm trying to say now. So those people, in some cases, they will not get anywhere either. And I'm not saying, you know, if you care about other people, you're not going anywhere. That's obviously not what I mean. You guys know that, so don't get anything I say wrong here. I'm just saying, if you're always going to be okay with, if you're always going to think everyone is right, or you're just always going to be like okay, or you know, feel bad for them, which is cool, feel bad for them, but also, you know, one thing is feeling bad for someone, but the other thing is, you know, figuring out how can you get them to move forward, how can you help them, you know, progress and get better instead of just feeling bad for them. So that's also a personality where people just always agree. It's in the word, right? So people always agree. They never question other people. They never look at this. They never try to move people forward. Like, so no matter the idea they will come with, they will just say it's a cool thing. People are like this for me, you know, like, hey man, I know, I trust you, man, I know what you're saying is right. And like, that's some people, they just agree to everything. They're just like, you're right. I mean, you just gotta take the guy and say you're wrong. I think we're doing this instead. Because if not, you're just gonna keep working on the wrong idea, which is another thing that people get wrong too. You know, they work on wrong things. So it doesn't matter if you stop wasting your time and you're working hard if you work on something nonsense, right? So you can't just agree to everything. If you think it's wrong, you got to sort of say it's wrong, and that's like, you know, what a leader would do too. Yeah, and that's a couple of things that's kind of off topic, but I just want to cover everything. I just want to say what's on my mind. It's my second channel, right? I just want to say what I feel like, say, you know, my thoughts, how I think people can level up in their lives, explain a little bit, trying to act more smart than I am, because I'm probably not the smartest guy. I feel like I'm getting a little smarter, but I just want to say weird things. I want to make up a point here. If you're wasting your time, if you're just playing video games, you're not going anywhere, you need to stop that thing, and you know it yourself. So the reason you play this video is probably just, you know, because you want to hear it one more time. But what you could have done instead is to not play this video, because you know what to do. I mean, most people do. So when you see the title of a video, how to stop wasting time, you don't have to watch it to understand how to stop wasting time. You just have to go out and stop wasting time. So it is pretty obvious. And you know, I think we all have heard a quote. What is it saying again? Graveyard is the wealthiest place, because that's where, you know, all dreams are buried, things that didn't get into reality. And I think that's a good quote, honestly, because there's so many people saying like they wanted to do this and that with their life and they never managed to do it, so their dream will get buried there because they didn't go the mile they wanted to go. So I feel like if you're young, or even if you're old as well, you should go for it. You should stop wasting your time. And like, let's just say average human life, I don't know how long it is, but let's just say it's 80 years. So if you're gonna waste one of your years trying to chase something, I think that's worth it. You'll still have 79 years left, but I don't know. People should just take action, honestly. I hope you liked the video. Smash a thumbs up and subscribe, and that's about it.